with the class versus race. Just like y'all have already stated, because of the way the economy is and a lot of white people are losing their houses and they're going through a lot of things we've been going through for years, that will allow for some change. But just like the previous caller said, you know, I don't think it's a coincidence that Barack and Cheney are cousins, and there's some other things we need to look at and just be a little more patient with to see what's real. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Fahim, you coming up soon, man. Get ready, man, Fahim. We got another phone caller, Bill? Bill, got another one? Hold on. Hey, Fahim, get to the microphone, man. Let's get Fahim up here. Fahim Akunta, bring him on the camera, man. No, right here. Use it. You come on, there you go. Fahim Akunta. Fahim, go right ahead with your comments, man.
Okay, very good. How's that sound?
What's up, man? You looking good, man.
Okay,
the mayor of Blacktown.
Okay,
you're on the computer just like me. Look him up, the mayor of Blacktown. Don't look at me. Just look at me. Go ahead.
Indeed. One of the things that I've noticed listening to the media last few days, the emphasis has not been upon black manhood. You know, there's a lot of talk about Barack is biracial this. At his press conference, he called himself a mutt. He's a black man, and as you said, he's a product of our legacy of struggle. He's the culmination, okay? The emphasis has to be on the fact that his image symbolizes the contradiction and contrast against the sagging pants issue that we've had with our boys, the gangster rapper phenomena, the mama's boy crises that we have in our community, typified by the Hudson drama. Week before that, that guy, that young man or that mama's boy shot that girl through the bus.
Yeah, but
so we've got to see. We can't worry about the world. We got to worry about our community.
But Fahim, let me ask you something. I'm sorry to cut you off. Do you think Barack Obama and his family, his two beautiful daughters and his beautiful wife, is going to inspire African American men, especially, to man up and be men?
Indeed, indeed, and we know that as a result of course, during his campaign, his comments during Father's Day when he admonished black men. So he has told us. And Brother Salim's a very intelligent man, obviously an academician. Brother Marc, your producer, myself, computers. It's on us now. The poor people have done their part. In contrast to what Bill Cosby said about poor people, it's time for the talented 10th. It's time for us to do this. And my final point, in 4 years, what will we have to show in our community? Are we going to let 4 years lapse the same way we let 13 years lapse after the Million Man March? It's time for the black man to show the world that we can do more than run, jump, sing, and dance.
Fahim Akunta, hey, I see you on the computer, man. Fahim.
Mark, if that's we're saying some things that are kind of abstract. Put it to a test. Here's how, in one way, I think you could put it to a test. If the objective of black people and black men who have the highest unemployment rate in the country,
highest incarceration rate,
and we know I was going to say that,
far.
Incarceration,
and the highest dropout rate. Okay,
by far.
If those three things have been impacted upon, then there's a change. How do you impact upon? The men themselves challenge it by going to look for a job. And don't just look, apply. If you're turned down the same rate, the same way, same consistency, unqualified, that shows it ain't impacted upon. The school thing, some of that's policy, but some of it is not. If they are inspired, when you are inspired, sometimes you take stuff that you would normally take because you have hope that things will change. So they will sit in these classes longer when they feel as though ain't nothing being offered to them.
But Pat, I don't think we should wait for that kind of inspiration. I think we should demand structural changes from our president because that's his job.
Policy,
his job is not cultural. It's not to inspire us in any kind of cultural way. That's the civic leadership's job.
Right, I agree.
Farrakhan, Jesse Jackson, and many, many, many others. But the president's job is to channel resources in a positive way that will help us maximize our potential. And that's what we have to demand from our president, structural changes in our
I want you to continue with that
society.
thought because we had the 8 years of Bill Cosby on TV and that helped us out, some of us. So we may have 8 years of Barack and there's symbolism.
The worst communities in every city, one of the most prominent institutions is church.
Right.
People exhort people all the time. You can't change people by exhorting them.
Right.
You know, you have to make differences in their options, in their of employment and whatnot.
But
that will make difference in their circumstance. But what I'm saying is that if he is causing these structural changes, when these brothers challenge the system, there will be a change. And I'm saying it trickles up, not down. If they go and do those things I just said, and nothing, the doors are still slammed in their faces. You still can't get a job selling a car. You still can't do certain things. That means it didn't come down. And that, to me, would be the barometer or an indication that it's business as usual. Now, in some ways, we may be jumping the gun, but you have to have as aspirations, you have to have expectations. That's it. And our expectations shouldn't be any less. A lot of people say, well, he's just a brother. He just got there. Give him a chance, you know. No. When Harold Washington was there, and I keep using that analogy.
A good analogy.
Our expectations were so high to the point that we adopted him Uncle Harold. It was so high, we put so much pressure on him and it felt so much kinship and tried to help him so that when he died, we all jumped in the grave with him. So the point that I'm making is, and that's why a lot of folks haven't done anything, because psychologically, they're gone.
For those of us, this international audience, you know that when Harold Washington died, that was it for black politics in this town.
It appeared to be, because a lot of people put so much, and that was the other lesson.
Like you said, we went in the grave with Harold.
There's another lesson. Do not do that again.
Yes.
Do not do that again.
I got to take a couple more, just a few more phone calls. We got another phone call on the line. This is Viewpoint Live.
Yes, I have a question for you three. Are you guys still in a state of disbelief, honestly? Did you see these coming?
I didn't see it coming.
He's the president, so now what? Like, I mean, so you're still in a state of disbelief, correct?
No. We gone with disbelief. We're trying to say, what now? He's going to be president for 8 years. Is our lives going to improve? Will the country improve? Because remember, the country's in heap big trouble. You know that. Heap big trouble. And if Caucasians, European Americans have a cold, you know, African Americans, we have the flu. So, you know what I'm saying? So he's there. I believe he's there to calm us down. I would have some notes here. I think that in his inaugural speech, he should say that the only thing we have to fear is fear itself, because it's going to get that bad for a lot of people.
Now, who said that before? Was it Teddy Roosevelt?
Franklin Delano.
One of them Roosevelts.
Wait, you got another comment?
Yeah, I have another question. It's about the biggest minority community in this country, which is not the African American community, it's the Latino community. And the Latinos voted for him by a large majority. So my
almost
question
70%.
Do you think he should appoint maybe 2, 3, or 4 Latinos to the cabinet?
Sure. I think he should.
Yeah. So it's a rainbow coalition, sir. Rainbow coalition. You agree with that, right?
Yeah, because now the issues are more dynamic, they're more complex. You know, we all have to work together.
Now, okay, thank you, sir.
And our next economic, our new economic ideas might be coming from Latin America. You know, with Hugo Chavez and the other Latin American presidents down there, Evo Morales in Bolivia, they're beginning to do some serious alteration to this whole capitalist consensus that's been going around for so long and destroying their countries.
I'll say this. There was a fear. You know, we got kind of hung up emotionally, and there's this saying in law enforcement, emotions are high, reasoning is low. We got hung up in emotion, but I listened to a lot of that stuff McCain was saying, especially in terms of when they start throwing out the air stuff and throwing out this word socialism. That was to put fear in other people, because it wasn't us, because black people were going like, what's socialism? And some of them were too, but the point is that cannot be our greatest enemy, socialism. And when you bring up Chavez in Bolivia, the guy in Bolivia, the point that I'm making is some of this, and this isn't so-called democracy. I mean, you know, you got an experiment going on. There is room for that. There's room for
socialism?
Well, I won't say socialism.
Look, that's what we're doing right now.
We got it now. It's going on.
Right.
Big time.
That's right. And it was interesting that one day CNN put the definition that they got from one of those dictionaries on there, because everybody goes, yeah, we don't want socialism. And they put it on there, and the people go like, oh, yeah.
Wall Street Walk, right on down to their Uncle Sam, boy.
The way it was said, it made it seem like it was the boogeyman, and you're living stuff like that now. So or living in a part of it. I'm saying that to say that this is the opportunity I think that we have is to become politically educated. And you can't organize by just watching TV. Let's start getting into political processes. One of the things, the way that they organize, when they got those kids through the texting and the emailing, and we now found out he had the inside guy who owns a Face page or something?
Facebook.
Facebook.
Yeah.
Show you what I know. That facilitated that. So